Thank you for reviewing our 2021 Day of Caring Project Leader Training. My name is Melissa Lewis. I'm Director of Operations for the United Way of West Florida, and I'll be your Day of Caring liaison. For those who are new to Day of Caring, it's the largest single-day volunteer event in Escambia and Santa Rosa County, and it's its 28th year in our community.
This year's Day of Caring is brought to you by event sponsors Central Credit Union of Florida, Cox, Extreme Plumbing and Septic, Florida Blue, Gulf Winds, and Navy Federal Credit Union. On behalf of the agencies, school representatives, and our volunteers, we thank you for your support.
A dedicated team spent many hours and months to plan the Day of Caring, so I'd like to give a very special thank you to our Day of Caring committee members. Corey Booth, Gulf Power Company, Larry Cherry, NASP Ground Electronics, Christy Craig, Ready Kids, and our Day of Caring co-chair, Carlisle Griffin, Santa Rosa County School District, Wanda Kotick, Escambia County School District, Chris McFarland, Escambia County School District, and our Day of Caring chair, and Carrie Smeda with MANA, and our United Way team, Molly Harrington, Gretchen Hollenbach, John Pachazima, and Mary White. Before we begin the training, we would like to share a message from United Way of West Florida President Laura Gilliam.
Hi, I'm Laura Gilliam, President and CEO of United Way of West Florida. Welcome to our 28th Day of Caring Project Leader Training. First and foremost, thank you for stepping forward to take on this role as project leader. You know how important volunteerism is to United Way of West Florida, as well as to our community. So we appreciate you taking on this critical role. During Day of Caring on October 1st, volunteers will spread out across Escambia and Santa Rosa counties to support agencies and school districts to do projects that they may have put off for a while because of a lack of capacity or a lack of resources. So this volunteer day is a critical day in supporting these agencies, these school districts, the clients they serve, and the students. So again, thank you for stepping forward to do this work. And we look forward to seeing you in person on October the 1st for our 28th Day of Caring. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura, for your kind words. It is now time to get into the components of the training. So in the next few slides and videos, they will cover how to create meaningful volunteer projects, what volunteer groups should be doing to prepare for the project, and how to ensure your team is safe throughout the day. We will also cover our volunteer platform, Get Connected. We will share important dates that you can add to your calendar and how you can get in touch with United Way West Florida for additional information. So let's get started with a presentation by Carrie Smeda on the agency and school perspective.
Hello, Day of Caring project leaders. My name is Carrie Smeda and I'm with MANA Food Pantries. And I'm here today to share with you the agency perspective. So I'm going to go over a few things with you and hopefully you feel really confident about going into Day of Caring after this project leader training. First, I want to tell you that it's really important to develop effective projects. And so make sure that you take the time to find some projects that are meaningful and helpful, not just asking folks to scrub your toilets. So take the time to think of some really meaningful tasks and make sure that your task list is long. When you have a lot of volunteers, they can work through projects very quickly. So it's very important to make sure that you have a long list of activities for them to do so that way you can make sure they get through it fast, you've still got more for them to do. The other thing that's really important is to make sure that you have the equipment and supplies that you will need to do those tasks. You should not rely on your volunteers to bring that equipment and supplies for you. Now you may ask them if they have those items that they'd be willing to bring for you, but you should not depend on that. So if you're asking folks to paint, make sure you have paint brushes. If you're asking them to do yard work, make sure that you've got the tools to do that too. The next thing that I want to bring to your attention are the sign-in sheets. And these are really important because United Way needs to know who's volunteering and for how long they're volunteering. So you will get sign-in sheets from our United Way team, and just make sure that everybody who volunteers with you on Day of Caring gets signed in. Here at Manna, we actually have a separate sign-in sheet that we use for volunteers who come here on a normal day, and we've worked with United Way to merge those two sign-in sheets, and that's been very helpful for us, so it might work for you too. Next is lunch. We've got 2 shifts on Day of Caring. We've got the half-day projects and the full-day projects. And so we ask that when you host volunteers, you provide them with some beverages and something to eat. Now, in this time of COVID, things do look a little bit different. So if you're providing snacks or lunches, which we encourage you to do, make sure that they are please individually wrapped or packaged so that folks can grab their own food and take that with them rather than serving from a buffet or anything like that. We want to make sure that everybody stays safe. The last thing that I want to encourage you to do is just communicate with your volunteer leaders. So make sure that you communicate with the folks that are going to be coming to your facility or out to different locations for you, as well as your own team. It's really important to make sure that everybody's on the same page, know exactly what tasks are laid out for your volunteers and what the plans are throughout the day. And the one thing I will say too that I forgot to mention earlier is that make sure that when folks are there for either a half day or a full day, make sure that you're filling that time for them. And that goes back to just making sure you've got enough tasks. But communicate that well with your volunteers and make sure that there's understanding on both sides, and it'll be perfect. It'll work out just fine. If you have any questions about activities that Day of Caring groups have done in the past and you'd like to know more, we will be giving you a possible Day of Caring project ideas handout. You'll also get a communication checklist. So those 2 things will help you get through. Thank you so much. Have a great Day of Caring.
Thank you, Carrie. Volunteer teams. If you choose a school, you will need to complete a form that lists the names of your team and provide to the school in advance of the day. These forms can be found when you select a school's project on Get Connected. Now let's hear from Corey Booth to provide a volunteer group perspective, and Corey and Larry Sherry will share some safety tips.
I'm Corey Booth with the Gulf Power Company, and we're excited to be able to do this again for our community. I want to say thank you for participating, and also to you that participated last year and previous years. It's an honor to have you come back and serve in this role and be in our community. So 2019 was a great year for the Day of Caring in United Way. We had 72 local businesses participate and give back some time, which came out to roughly 5,000 hours of volunteer work that was put out. If you took that and said, well, what would that be from a business perspective? That's about $127,000 of manpower hours. So we want to say thank you for giving back in 2019, and we're looking forward to doing it again this year. A couple things that we're going to do a little different to be able to make a bigger impact in our area. We're going to limit the number of volunteers from each group to 10. So if you have a team that usually was 20, 25, we're going to split you up so we can make an impact in a variety of different areas. Or there might be projects that are pretty large that we can still put you in, but we're going to limit team size to 10 with a minimum of 4. And also one thing to keep in mind, we do budget for the shirts that we give out each year. So we want to be sensitive to that. So please only order what you actually need. We usually have a couple extra on hand. So if someone joins the team last minute and would like to participate, we might be able to accommodate an additional shirt. So we just want to make sure that we're not getting more than we need and making an impact in our area. This year might have a little bit of a different look than years past. We've all been challenged with the COVID-19 pandemic. I know personally we've had to make some adjustments, and the same will be for our Day of Caring. So when we get ready to do the event, we'll see what the best recommendations are through the CDC guidelines, and we'll implement those on site. With the whole COVID-19 pandemic, our volunteer organizations have been, and nonprofits have been really significantly impacted. Volunteerism is the backbone of these agencies, and a lot of them have had to close or temporary close due to just restrictions. So they've those daily tasks that normally they would be able to get to, it's been a challenge to complete those. And then that's where you come in. This is where we can get out and give back to our community. So we need to get ready to be able to help, whatever it may be. It might be just filing paper, wiping down countertops, or building something new for a school or a local agency to enjoy. It's a way that we can come out as a business with our teammates that we used to see daily in the office and accomplish a great task for Northwest Florida again. I'm looking forward to this opportunity to spend time with some of my colleagues that maybe hadn't seen in a while. So this is just going to be a great way to have that communication, build that teamwork, and give back to the community and a great organization that does so much. So I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to give back to Northwest Florida. We're excited to be in both Escambia and Santa Rosa County this year, and we look forward to the many great things ahead. Have a great day.
Hey team, we're going to talk about safety today. And that's the biggest thing that we want to be mindful of when we're out on site for the Day of Caring events. You know, we're going to give back, we're going to make an impact, but we want to return back home to our families the same condition we left that morning. If nothing else, filled with excitement for what we were able to accomplish. So you've got to be responsible for your own safety. And team leaders, please look out for your teams. We're actually here on site today, and we're going to be doing some cleanup, different things. And so I've come out a little bit early to make sure that look for any potholes, anything that could be a trip hazard. Make sure we've located the facilities, for our teammates if they need to take a break of any kind. So you want to make sure you go out to your sites ahead of time and have a good familiarity of what's going on. When we're out here on site, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And so we want to identify those, make sure we take our team on a tour, and communicate with the agency that you're working with so they, can make sure that you have all that you need. Stay hydrated. Make sure you have the right tools. Make sure you have the right protective equipment. You don't want to show up to, cut grass with a weed eater when you really needed a chainsaw. And so, we want to make sure you do a pre-assessment and identify anything that you may need to bring with you, and look for any of those risks. And so, hopefully today my teammate Larry's going to show up. Now Larry's kind of scary. He's not the guy you always want on the job site. And hey, Larry, heads up.
Hey, Corey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy, good you can make it this year.
Hey, was this what we needed to move?
Yes, so we're going to be cleaning up that
Let me
debris.
get at it right now.
Whoa. Do you know if there's a snake in there? What about those pretty little hands that you got there? Don't you want to take care of
Gloves.
them?
That's right, I got the
So
gloves
make
on.
sure that you have
Forgot
your
all
protective
about
equipment
that.
in place. Gloves, hard hats, glasses, anything that you might need. So Larry, did you check and see if you were the hole you could have stepped in? He had his head down, looking at his phone.
All right, we're
So-
ready now, right?
I think so. So,
Good.
you know what? We need to take apart this table. So,
I'll tell you what, though, man, I haven't eaten all day today. I'm kind of thirsty.
oh, Larry,
Hold
on. I just happen to have an extra bottle of water. But make sure you come, have a snacks on site. Make sure you discuss if there's going to be a lunch option. So we want to make sure your team is fed and well hydrated before entering the sites.
Hey, Corey, is this what you want me to use?
Oh,
I got this from my neighbor. I've never used this before, but you want the table cut, right?
Larry, what? Just a second. Before we use any power equipment, we want to make sure that we have a full understanding of what that's designed to do. So whether it's just a pressure washer or maybe just climbing a ladder, we need to make sure that we feel very comfortable with that piece of equipment. We know the safe ways to maintain 3 points of contact at all times on a ladder. So just don't pick up your neighbor's sawzall and think that it's pretty easy to use. You want to make sure you're properly trained on that.
Oh, come on, we're ready to roll.
I know, that's the scary part. So let's put that down and we'll find you something else. I think we got some painting we can do.
Okay.
So team, with safety, please keep that top of mind. This is a day of fun, a day of giving back, but we want to make sure that you're safe. So this was a fun little skit, but please be mindful, get out early, identify all risks, be properly, protected with your equipment, long pants if you're going to be working out in areas where brush may be. So just make sure safety is a top of mind priority for our day caring event. We don't want to have any incidents. So the best thing to do is be your brothers and sisters keepers. So thank you very much, and please be safe.
Thanks, Corey and Larry. That was a great way to share some safety tips. Now let's talk about how you get set up to be a volunteer or create a project. Get Connected is our volunteer platform where an agency can create their need and a volunteer can sign up to volunteer at an agency of their choice. We are going to use this platform for the Day of Caring. Using this platform will allow the volunteer teams to choose their own project and not have to be selected by one of us. We thought you would like that. So how do we do that? Agencies and schools, if you already have a profile, Get Connected, there is no need to create a new one. When you log in, create an event and select the 2021 Day of Caring as the initiative. Those agencies and schools new to the system, you will need to create a profile. We have provided the link below to get you started. Volunteer project leader. If you already have a username and Get Connected, you do not have to create a new one. You'll need to create your team by editing your profile. Those who are not signed up and Get Connected, you will need to create a user in the system. The link below will help you with that. Once you sign up your group, you'll be able to select the Day of Caring project in mid-September. Please reach out to me if you have any problems with Get Connected. To assist you in having a successful day, our co-chair, Christy Craig, will provide an overview of our communications checklist.
Hey guys, I'm back to chat with you all about our communication checklist. This is a resource provided to you by United Way so that you can ensure your Day of Caring and time leading up to the big day are successful. It's going to go over things like making sure that you know the important dates, when your forms are due, when the meet and greet takes place so that you can have successful meets between the volunteer group and the project site, and communicating between those two as well. That's going to be a big theme that you see on our communication checklist is communicate, communicate, communicate. We want to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that it is a fun day for all involved. Talk about things like what's the start time, what's the anticipated end time, who's providing lunch, what tools are needed and who's providing them, where should we park, are there specific directions to get to your location, is there anything safety we need to keep in mind such as certain PPE, certain tools we need, and how many people are expected to show up. This form is just, again, it's just a checklist with certain things to think of as we're leading up to the day and to have on the Day of Caring itself. Should volunteers maybe take off special jewelry? Should they wear certain clothing that's going to make the day easier? Are there any safety concerns? Again, what are those lunch plans? Who's providing the tools? We're going to say them a few times because these are things that we've seen in past years. People, if you don't talk about them in advance, it can make for a little bit hard of a start for the Day of Caring when it arrives. And what should our volunteers bring, or what should the project sites already have, especially if you're going to be outside? Water, Gatorade, bug spray, sunscreen. These are important things to think of. Who's going to have them? Gosh, if you're doing something that's loud, maybe you want to make sure they have earplugs. And then we also had mentioned earlier about those pre-packaged individual consumption items for lunch, but maybe think about also having some snacks like granola bars or other pre-packaged food and bottled water for the volunteers in a break room in case they just need to take a few minutes for themselves. Another fun one, have your camera. Who's going to be taking photos to document all of the fun activities that are happening? Again, your communication checklist is going to tell you communicate, communicate, communicate between the volunteer group and the project site, and your day can't go wrong. This form is going to be sent to you by United Way, so keep an eye out for it and keep it handy until Day of Caring. All right, thanks y'all.
Thank you, Christy. Team and site coordinators, we really cannot express enough how important it is to communicate with your agency before the day. Next up is our timeline for Day of Caring. As you can see by the dates listed, we have mapped out a timeline for your day to be successful. Please add these dates to your calendar or click on the link to print the flyer. The next milestone you need to complete is adding your agency need or setting up your volunteer team by August 20th and Get Connected. Volunteer team, to ensure you have a t-shirt for your team members, please complete the t-shirt form and send in by August 20th. Supplies are limited, so please only order shirts for volunteers that are participating. If you have any questions throughout the process, please contact me via phone or email listed on the screen. On behalf of the Day of Caring Committee, thank you. We look forward to having a great Day of Caring.